about that one. The latest news on Mikel Merino. We've also made contact with his teammate, his Spanish teammate. We'll be discussing that. And the latest on players like Fabio Vieira, Kiwior, a lot to discuss. Let's get straight into it without wasting any time. And let's start with Calafiori. So Fabrice has just confirmed this. Riccardo Calafiori is set to fly to London tonight, as reported earlier today. He'll then fly to US pre-season tour after first part of medical tests. So we are finally getting our player. I don't know what happened the last couple of days, so they're waiting for the documents to sign first, and then he's now traveling to London to undergo his medical, and then he can join up with the rest of the team. We are finally getting the player we've been looking for the last 3 weeks, 1 month. It's finally getting done. Now, since he's going to undergo his medical, probably not tonight, probably tomorrow morning, we are playing United on Sunday morning. I don't think he's going to be available for that game, unfortunately, but we could see him making his debut against Liverpool the following week, I think on Thursday. But listen, the most important thing is that we're finally getting this deal done. It's a deal that it's actually very exciting for me. We've discussed him a lot, and the fact that a lot of teams wanted him, big teams, not just small teams. 2-3 years ago, we'd compete with players with, Sheffield United and Everton, and sometimes we'd not even end up getting the players. Right now, with a player like Calafiori, seeing him in an Arsenal jersey when he was wanted by Chelsea, PSG, Leverkusen, last minute Juventus, Real Madrid. It's absolutely fantastic that he really wanted to join us, and we are getting him for such a low price, and we're going to pay him very low wages as well. And he's definitely going to come to our team and start and join up with that defense that you're going to have. The four of them, plus Timber, plus Tomiyasu, plus Zinchenko, plus Kiwi still there. Like, it's absolutely exciting, the defense that we already had, and then him joining up with this team, one of the best players in terms of the Euros, announcing himself at the Euros, had a great season with Bologna last season. I think it's a very exciting signing, even if it took 10 months to do it. Yes, people say you get tired with the links, and people get tired, carrying on, the Arsenal carrying on the deal too long. No, when you eventually get him, it feels so good. Like, no difference between getting him last week and this week. I'm still super excited to see him playing, wearing an Arsenal shirt and playing for us. And the medical, he will be traveling for that tonight. And then I'd expect maybe tomorrow night is off to the USA to join up with the rest of the team, including Jorginho, his teammate. So he does have someone there to help him settle. So super excited with this deal. The medical will be done the moment he arrives in London. We'll talk about that one as well. But Calafiori, that's the latest update on him. So not going to play the Man United game probably. He could not be on the bench. Who knows? They traveled to LA very quickly, so he could make the team by then. Or we could actually see him watching the game against Man United, but not in the squad. You have to train in the team before you play for this Arsenal side. So welcome to Arsenal, Calafiori. It's getting closer and closer. Medical will be done tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on how quickly and how easy they're going to get it done. So that's the latest on Calafiori. Next up, let's talk about Mikel Merino. Obviously, we've been told that after Calafiori, which is basically done, we are going to sign a midfielder and a striker. And the only real midfielder that we've been linked to the last 2 weeks, apart from the one that you're going to talk about after Merino, is Merino. Merino is the name that we've been hearing a lot the last 10 days. It is looking very likely that we're going to get him. We heard that Arsenal are going to approach him even more after the Euro campaign, and that is exactly what happened. And according to reports from Team News and Ticks, Arsenal are closing in on a deal for Mikel Merino. Again, I've talked about Merino a lot. For me, I've said if he's an addition to our team, absolutely bring him in. He's going to add a lot to our team, those duels and that technical ability in midfield, the fact that he can play as a number 8 and a number 6 as well. Bring him to the team. I prefer him as a number 8. He probably play for us more as a number 8, but in the Premier League, you need physicality and duels and all that, interceptions, tackles in midfield. If you win the midfield battle in the Premier League, you probably win the game. If you lose the midfield battle, you can even argue whichever league you're playing in, you're probably going to lose the game. But especially the Premier League, the midfielders are where the quality is usually stacked up. So if you lose the physicality battle or the physical battle or the mental battle, whichever it is, you're going to lose the game. So you need players like Merino there in the midfield to help you out. And he was very, very incredible at the Euros. He was coming off the bench most of the times, but he was very good. He was one of the reasons why they won that trophy. He scored a crucial goal against Germany. You think in extra time, last minute of extra time, they could easily have gone out on that day, and he played a crucial part. And last season for Sociedad, playing next to Subimendi, he was really good as well. So this would be an exciting signing, but for me, as an addition, not as a replacement. Like, if you were selling part and then bringing Merino, I'd be like, we still need something else in midfield. If, let's say, we are selling Rice and bringing in Merino, obviously that would not be enough. We still need maybe 2 more midfielders after him. So we need to add to our midfield numbers. We already lost El Neni. We're about to lose Smith Rowe. So we need to add to our midfield numbers. And Merino would fit that bill. Real Sociedad want 30 million euros. That's the only fee that they want. So that could puts us ahead of all the other teams that want him. And speaking about the teams that want him, Atletico Madrid want him, and I've just read 5 minutes ago that Atletico Madrid, I think, are preparing to make an offer. They've already made an offer for him. We don't know how much the offer is, and we've also been told that Merino will think about it. He's still not sure if he wants to join Atletico Madrid or he wants to come to Arsenal, so we have to wait and see. Now, if we've already agreed personal terms with him and he's already spoken to Arteta and already spoken to Edu, I'm not worried about any team making offers. But if you have not approached the player yet, which is not possible because you've been told that you've already talked to the player, depending on how far that approach went and how many things we told him and how much we convinced him to join Arsenal, then I'd not be worried about any other team if we've done that. But if we haven't, I usually assume all the Spanish players, from Sociedad and Betis and Malaga and Getafe, I always assume all of them would want to go to Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid or Barcelona, and stay in their country and play for a bigger team. I usually assume that. But no one knows. He might try and come to England. He's played for Newcastle before, and he's already spoken to Arteta. We've told him there's a role there for you for sure. Rice and Pat are not going to play every single day. Maybe we've even told him you're the one who's going to play next to Declan Rice. Maybe that is the case. Who knows? So Mikel Merino, Team News and Chicks has confirmed that we are closing in on the deal for him. But Atletico Madrid are still there. So it's the Arsenal, Atletico Madrid. I don't think it's going to stay at Sociedad. It's going to be the Atletico Madrid or Arsenal who end up getting him. And for 30 million euros, I think Arsenal is going to push hard for him because we've not really been linked with too many other midfielders, or we have, and those midfielders have moved on for 50 million, 60 million, 70 million to different teams. Onana, Zubimendi decided to stay at Sociedad. Ruiz has moved on. Joao Neves is about to join PSG. Bruno Guimaraes looks likely like he's going to stay at Newcastle. So there's not too many midfielders that we've been linked to recently. Apart from yesterday, Fabian Ruiz, Mikel Merino's teammate, literally they were replacing, like these players were coming off and then Merino comes on. So Fabian Ruiz is a starter for Spain. He plays for PSG, not really an important player at PSG, according to PSG fans. They're trying to sell him. But for Spain, he was absolutely incredible. He scored a few really, really good goals with late runs into the box. And looks like we're going for a lot of these Spanish players, Merino, Ruiz, Nico Williams, very interesting. So, depends. Fabian Ruiz, I can't see us signing both Merino and Ruiz. That would be very interesting. But both of them mainly play as a number 8 and, pushing forward. So none of them is really a specific or a superstar number 6. No one really would want to sit in midfield and just play as the number 6. Both of them would want to go and play in the number 8. And Fabian Ruiz's case, he can also play as attacking midfield at the number 10 position. So that becomes a little bit tricky. The only way you can sign Merino and still keep Partey and Jorginho and still keep Rice as well, you'd need to sell both Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira, for example. I think that's the only way that could happen. But if Fabio Vieira is staying, which is looking likely, Fabian Ruiz or Merino, one of them would come in to replace Smith Rowe, unless you want to throw in another midfielder there. If both of them are cheap, then who knows? But this is what was reported on Fabian Ruiz yesterday. Arsenal have initiated discussions with PSG for Fabian Ruiz. These discussions are dependent, I am told, on Arsenal moving a player out in midfield. It's likely if they are to come to an agreement, it will be structured as a loan with an obligation to buy. So that player is probably Smith Rowe. But if we ended up getting Merino, that means Merino has replaced Smith Rowe. So what happens to the rest of the players? Could it mean Vieira ends up leaving and then Fabian Ruiz comes in to replace him? That's the only way that could happen. But Fabio Vieira, as we're going to talk about next up, doesn't look likely like he's going to leave. So between Fabian Ruiz and Merino, it could be a double deal, but only if we're selling 2 midfielders. And I don't think we're going to sell 2 midfielders. Smith Rowe is going to leave. El Neni has already left. I think that's the only real midfield departures we're going to have this season. The wingers and forwards are going to leave, but in terms of midfield, those are the only ones I can see happening. Now, this has been reported from Duncan Castles. He says Arsenal have initiated discussions with PSG. I'm hearing PSG do want to sell him, so it would be an easier deal. PSG are changing around their team. Mbappe left. Fabian Ruiz will leave. They could sell Gonzalo Ramos. They could sell who else? There's someone else in that midfield, or they got rid of someone else in that midfield, or am I forgetting? Yeah, they're making a lot of changes. PSG are making a lot of changes. So they're trying to restructure the team here and there. And one of the players they're looking to sell is Fabian Ruiz. So I don't know how much it cost yet, but let's wait and see how much it would cost us. But between those two, who would you start, Fabian Ruiz or Merino? So Merino is usually the starter. And then not the starter. Merino is usually coming off the bench. Fabian Ruiz is the one who usually starts. So are you going to go by that, or are you going to go by the fact that Merino is more important to Sociedad than what Ruiz is to PSG? Who knows? So those are the two midfielders that have really been linked to now the last couple of days. I think you're going to end up getting one, but which one? I would probably say Merino is the one that you're going to get, but who knows? Atletico Madrid have now made an offer for Merino, so let's see if he's going to decide there. Is that why Arsenal have gone for Fabian Ruiz? Because they think Merino is going to end up at Atletico Madrid, sorry. I'm not sure. So let's see how this one develops as well the next couple of days. The things with these players, most of them are still on holiday, the English players and the Spanish players. So it's not easy to get these deals done until like next week or something. So speaking of midfielders who could leave, if Fabian Ruiz and Merino both join Arsenal, it means Smith Rowe will leave, and it means Fabio Vieira could leave, but it doesn't look likely because this is what was reported by Graham Bailey. Arsenal have turned down several approaches from clubs in Germany, Spain, and Italy for Fabio Vieira, while sides from the Saudi Pro League have also been in contact. Mikel has major hopes that Vieira can play a significant role this season. So the fact that we've already turned down offers from teams in Germany, Spain, and Italy suggests that we definitely do want to keep him. Unless you can look at it two ways. Maybe the offers were silly, like 5 million, 6 million, 7 million offers, and you're just like, no. Or maybe they're even offering, 25, 30 million, but Arsenal like, no, we're not going to sell this player. Now, Fabio Vieira, I've always said that they were signed the same transfer window as Jesus and Zinchenko and those guys. Zinchenko and Jesus had very good first seasons, and the second season not really great. But Fabio Vieira can argue he hasn't had a good first season or a good second season. That's the problem. Even Kiwior, for example, Kiwior's had not the best 5 months when he joined us last year, January. But last season, I think he had a great time, especially playing for us at left back, centre back. He was rotating a lot, and he basically covered for us with the injured players. You can argue he had a decent second season. I don't think you can really say that about Fabio Vieira. He looked very good in preseason last season, and so far in this preseason, he's already scored a goal against Bournemouth. He's one player next to Jesus. I said I really want to see a lot from in this preseason. The two of them, and Fabio Vieira scored a brilliant volley against Bournemouth to give us the lead in that game. He was looking sharp. He was coming back and doing some defensive work. I think that is what I would definitely want from him. If you're playing on the right wing, you come back and defend. But I also want to see him. These 4 games remaining in preseason, I want to also see him as a number 10, maybe in one of those games. I want to see how he do in that one. And then maybe before Saka comes, I'd like to see him on the right side again and see how he does in a second game against the Man United or against the Liverpool. So I have him in my starting lineup for the Man United game on the right side. So let's see how he does in that one. But looks like you're not going to sell Fabio Vieira. A lot of you wanted Fabio Vieira to be sold. Last season, I said Fabio Vieira, don't sell him. We don't sell a player after one season. Keep him. I even predicted he was going to be a surprise of the season. He started the season very well, and I was like, look, it's actually going to be a surprise of the season. He's got a fantastic goal against Barcelona. He's got a fantastic penalty against Man City to win us the Community Shield. And then he started the season with good performances against Everton, came off the bench against Man United and assisted Jesus, came off the bench against Fulham, turned the game around him, and Nketiah as well. They turned the game that day, the 2-2 draw against Fulham. He was looking sharp at the beginning of the campaign, and then obviously he went quiet, got an injury, and then picked up a red card, and then disappeared again for like 2-3 months. And then when he came back, we never really used him. So the season really dropped off for him. So this season would be a big one. Like I can see a scenario where if he doesn't have a good first 5-6 months, he could easily be sold in January, for example. So this is a big season for Fabio Vieira. I think this is the last chance saloon. Like if he doesn't turn up this season, I think he definitely won't be an Arsenal player next season. But let's hope he does, because if he does perform well, it really helps us in terms of a backup for Odegaard. It really helps us for backup backing up Saka as well. well, it would really be hugely beneficial for us. But Arsenal have turned down approaches from the teams from Germany, Spain, and Italy. Italy, right? Yeah, so looks like he's going to stay. Also, teams in Saudi have been in contact as well, so then they can probably offer a lot of money, but Arsenal just don't want to sell him. But what about Kiwior? What's the latest on Jakub Kiwior? According to Fabrizio Romano, despite reports, still zero talks or contacts between Inter and Arsenal or Inter and Jakub Kiwior's camp. No agreement, no negotiations so far. So Kiwior scored a winning penalty against Bournemouth in the friendly, good penalty. He came on in the second half. He was okay. The defensive partner in Rekik was the one that was all over the place. We considered with them on the pitch. I don't even remember who the ball deflected on, but we considered while they're on the pitch, but I think he did okay while he was playing. And for me, I would have really loved to keep Kiwior for sure. I think he's done really well for the 1.5 seasons he's been here. As a backup, he can come on at left back. He can come on at centre back. I don't think, yes, he did some games he wasn't great, but I don't think there's a time where Arsenal fans see Kiwior coming on and they're like, oh my goodness, Kiwior is coming on, we're in trouble. I don't think any Arsenal fans have that reaction. Unless you've ever had that reaction, I don't know. I don't think so. Like back in the day, we'd bring on a player and you're like, why is this player coming on? Even right now, we have a couple of players who come on and people are like, why are they coming on? But for Jakub Kiwior, I don't think I've ever had that reaction of why is he coming on. No, I always know he's going to be solid, whether he's coming on for the last 10 minutes or whether he's starting the game, especially from February to May. Last season, he was really good. He turned up for us those last 4 or 5 months. He was scoring goals. He was assisting. He was defending well. He was part of the teams that were keeping clean sheet after clean sheet. He was really, really good. But it's looking likely he's going to leave since Calafiori is joining. But so far, we don't really have any offers, so we could have him here for an extra week or maybe the full USA tour. And then maybe when he comes back to England, it gets finalized. Or maybe he ends up staying, which I'd be happy with. I wouldn't mind that. Nketiah, what's the latest on him? According to reports, Marseille close to agreeing personal terms with Nketiah, who is thought to be keen on joining Roberto De Zerbi's project. However, there's still a chance between Arsenal and Marseille's valuation of the English forward. However, there's still a distance, between Arsenal and Marseille's valuation of the English forward. So again, that one is going to take a bit of time. Smith Rowe is happening quickly. Smith Rowe looks likely to be joining Fulham very soon. I don't know if he's going to leave the camp. He didn't play the other day, so he's probably going to leave the camp. If Nketiah plays against Man United over the weekend, again, it seems like he's not going to leave anytime soon. We have to wait for the offers to be made first with these players, Nelson, Nketiah. I think Nketiah will definitely leave. I don't see him being an Arsenal player next season, especially if we go for a forward player. I can't see him staying at Arsenal, unfortunately. So for Nketiah, let's see how that one develops. Is that Marseille is not the only team that want him. We've been told a couple of other teams would be ready to make offers for him as well, but let's wait and see what happens with that. So a lot of news to get to today. Let me know what you make about everything we've discussed on Merino and Fabio Ruiz. Who would you pick between the two if we could pick anyone? Calafiori's medical is flying to London today. Fabio Vieira is staying, for the ones who've been asking about Fabio Vieira, and then that's the latest on Kiwior and Nketiah as well. More videos coming up. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.